Welcome to Impact the World, a podcast from West Park Baptist Church in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is where we discuss topics related to how we can all love God, love people, and impact the world. Here's your host, Tara Hayes.
I am your host, Tara Hayes, and today is a conversation I've been waiting to have for a very long time, and I'm super excited to have Pastor Sam and Susan with me today. How are you all?
Well, we're excited to be here. Been looking forward to it, as you know.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, as most of you listening probably already know, Pastor Sam and Susan have recently returned from Egypt, and this is a story that is near and dear to my heart, as my husband and I were able to go to Egypt last year. So this will almost serve as a debrief in ways, but we are excited to just sit down and talk about your experience there, what God showed you, the people that you met, and all the exciting things. There's a lot happening in that part of the world.
Oh my, I'm telling you, our folks listen to this, I hope they get a cup of coffee or two. This would go on a while. So
Pack a lunch,
'cause
folks.
Susan and I have not really stopped talking about it since we got back, and every opportunity. It's a truly amazing experience, and both of us, I think I've said, of all the journeys we've made or interactions we've had out on various fields for years, this trip to Egypt had, I think, the most meaningful impact, enlightenment. What would you say about that, honey?
Yeah, top two for me, but yes, yeah. Yeah. Explaining things, helping me to see things through different eyes, not just my American Tennessee eyes, but to see things I'm reading about, and seeing about on the news every day, but to see the people. And how they're having to live and where they're coming from was very eye-opening to me.
Yeah, I think for me and for Matthew too, it gives you a whole different view when you read scripture. And I know we'll probably touch on this later.
Oh, yes, I have something to share.
I'm sure you do, but I think it helped me immensely to understand, the text of scripture is a Middle Eastern text. It is not a Western American text. And it just really helps you understand, that's why certain things happen certain ways and what God's doing. And you remember this, everything started in the Middle East.
Yes, right.
And it colors everything after you leave there.
Absolutely. And that was one of the things we talked about, even as being in Egypt. And, as we even, got to go out and spend a little time at the pyramids of Giza and see the Sphinx, which is, since we're childhood, you can't imagine you'll ever see it. But then when you kind of back away from that and you lay that on to the Bible text, what you're actually seeing, and then Abraham and Sarah saw this,
so amazing.
Rebecca and Isaac and Jacob and Joseph and
Was
Moses.
there.
And
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and then Joseph and Mary and the Lord Jesus, in his first, 2, maybe 3 years were actually lived right there. And it was, that was... and
the Nile River.
The Nile.
The Nile
that's right.
River.
That was so...
Right.
But again, when you are able to make journeys to biblical places, it just takes on a framework as you read the Bible. But then actually, we all have in our minds what people are like, just, in our own minds. And then you're always amazed by, whoa, these folks aren't really like that at all, or I don't know what I was thinking. And that was another amazing thing, is just even learning about the from the Egyptian people themselves, how hospitable, how personable, and really funny. Funny.
Very.
I mean, I sat there for a while, and the people we were interacting with, all of them would have been probably in their late 20s up to their mid 30s or so, something like that. And Susan and I, I'm sitting thinking, this is like youth group.
This is so much fun.
This is like we're doing youth ministry again, because they would, among themselves, they get a little rowdy, you know,
yeah.
and it
They
was
know
just,
how to laugh.
They
Yeah, they really do.
joyfulness. I will say this one other thing I think is unique to any trip we've ever made. These folks, of course, their heart language is Egyptian. They all know Arabic.
Yeah.
But for the sake of gathering with us, they all spoke in English.
Yeah.
We sang in English. The scriptures were read in English. And so this is like their third language.
Which is amazing.
For us as
Yeah.
Americans.
Yeah.
But they did that to make sure we understood.
Right. That was one thing, you know, that we kind of talked about even before we went to Egypt with Jeff and Julie. Like, these people very much desire, and their culture very much is relational. And so they desire to know you. They desire to make you feel comfortable. And we've still kept in contact with several of the partners that we
Right.
met there. And they still very much like ask, what is going on in your family? How are you doing? How are you? And the thing that really stood out to me, they go deep quickly because it's such an important part of their lives.
Yes, and I think
saw
we
that.
found that out. Is one thing was different about this conference, which, you know, I wasn't, or anybody else, really expected to be the speaker. Okay, I mean, had an opportunity to share some devotion as others did, but it was really sitting down, talking, conversations, listening, and in that culture, breaking bread together, having a meal together is
a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's not like, hey, let's just do lunch or grab something. No, when you sit down and talk,
There's a purpose.
it's purposeful,
much.
but you have a relationship.
That's
we
right.
have broken bread together.
Yeah.
We have a relationship. So that's
And they want to know early on, like, how did you come to believe in Jesus?
oh boy.
I mean, we shared our testimony many times in a
times.
short couple of days.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And, just I would just want to say, some of our partners that helped us set this up and go there, Jeff and Julie,
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
Are those people not
I know.
perfectly suited, gifted in every way
Yeah.
to be doing what they're doing in this season? I mean,
Carmen.
Carmen was there. Of course she was there. Carmen.
Where in the world is Carmen?
Where in the world is Carmen? Wherever you're going, she's there. And again, just watching how she interacted, just incredible to see the important role that seasoned believers who are experienced in cross-cultural relationships open up this whole dynamic of equipping, not controlling, supporting, just
Empowering.
empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
The
word
national
there.
people.
Empowering. That's a very good word. So, also, just for our church family here to know, the investment that the church is making, and individuals here are making in supporting Jeff, Julie, Carmen. Wow,
Yeah.
what they're accomplishing is
Beautiful
really
to see
beautiful.
and
It is beautiful.
Really.
It's just it's always exciting to me to see what God is doing all over the world, and that West Park gets to be a part of.
Yeah.
And that's why, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more. I try to talk about it a lot. I think it's so important for people to have that opportunity to travel all over the world in the missional context,
Yes.
because it completely changes your view of what God is doing,
Right.
where you fit into that picture, and what we have been blessed with.
Right.
And so it's just exciting to think about all that God's doing, and we get to see it and be a part of it.
Yes. And, another thing maybe both of you would share is that, you come back and you've, of course, been in an environment where you've seen all these cultures and nationalities, and then we come back to West Knoxville and you see West Knoxville differently. You say,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
That's right.
We've got all of these
Wait,
different
yeah.
ethnic groups
Right
here
here.
ourselves, and the nations are here. You know,
Right.
it opens your
Yeah.
eyes even to your own
does.
backyard, your own Jerusalem, as we say sometimes.
Yeah. It really, for me, and Matthew and I talked about this a lot, that we really, when we came home, we realized we saw them more as sojourners
Right.
and
Good
how
word.
difficult it would be for them to be here and not know anybody. I mean, we
Yes.
thought about it in our context as you're Ubering through Cairo and you think,
Oh.
it's me and my husband
Oh,
in an Uber with a Arabic speaking man, you know?
Oh,
and
yes.
so
Sure helps your prayer life.
it
doesn't
sure does. And I think, so then I put myself in their place. They're
Yes.
here and they may speak a little more English than I speak Arabic because I
Right.
speak none, but they might not know anybody. They might not know a doctor so it gives you, it certainly fills you with more compassion
Much
for
more.
someone.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter why they're here. They're here.
That's
Right.
right.
And
That's right.
they, I just feel for 'em. Imagine
Right.
a mother that's scared because her child is sick,
Yes.
so it does help you to be a lot more compassionate
Right.
with
And empathetic
empathetic with those who are in our area now.
Sure.
and able to reach out.
Yeah.
It's your first step.
Yeah.
Then you get to say, oh, I've been to the Middle East.
Yeah.
What can I help you with?
Yeah.
How could I help you?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just, of course, a lot of people here know the joke. I'm the chaplain of Dunkin' Donuts, it's like so. But
Yes, you are.
I was, there's a gentleman I've, met, several times in there getting a cup of coffee, and he's from Cairo.
Wow.
And so now we've got this opportunity that's just,
Yeah.
opening up, and he wants to
Conversation.
talk about it, and it's just great, and then we actually have there's a pastor here in this community from Cairo.
Yeah.
Okay, and that again, it's like, oh, we're here.
Yeah.
This people are so mobile today, and I think that's another thing. Being a mission-focused church, like I know we want to be. It's in the
Right.
DNA.
Yeah. That's what
we've
we
said
say.
that many times. The founding group of this church was supporting a missionary before they actually,
Had a
constituted as a church and
Right.
covenanted together. The Bible study was already supporting missionaries, so it's
amazing.
in the DNA of West Park. But what a different world in missions ministry, even in the years that I've pastored. The world is
Has changed.
completely changed. This is something, I think that I'm coming back, of course, we're personally just, sharing, experiencing, but I'm trying to see, okay, what does this mean? What are we seeing?
Mm-hmm.
And we've had several members go
Yeah.
over. You and I were late,
Yes.
late to come,
Yeah.
Susan. So several folks like yourself and Matthew and others have been over there, and you just get this amazing understanding of how mobile people are.
Yeah.
Those folks that we were interacting with, partners, are all Egyptians, but they're all over the Middle East.
Yeah.
They,
Any place where Arabic is spoken. And
They
that
can
really
go.
stood out to me.
Right.
Is they saw their ministry, their
Right.
opportunities to speak Arabic.
Yeah.
So that is the whole place they get to go. They don't have to learn another
Yeah,
language.
which is amazing.
They're
Yes.
already equipped
Right.
to do what
They understand
we
the culture.
cannot do.
Yeah.
Yes. And the rise of these mega cities. I mean,
Oh.
you can't wrap your mind around. Like, we're in Cairo, 25 million people in
Yeah.
one city. That's 3 times about the population of the entire state of Tennessee.
And none of them can drive.
Yeah,
But that's a whole other story.
No, I know. I thought,
Except
okay,
they all
there's
do drive.
They do.
yeah,
They
there's
all drive. But it's
25 million
interesting.
people and there's 40 million cars.
Right.
You know, so, but then that's what's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Where you have a Beijing is
India.
you know, 35 million, 37 million. They don't even know in Delhi, Mexico City, 30 million, Shanghai, 30 to 40 million.
So
It
unbelievable.
is the rise of the mega cities with people. They're international cities. That's the other thing. You know, yes, there's old Cairo, but there's these shining skyscrapers
With
rising
new roads
as well. Oh
Yeah.
going
yeah.
through.
Very
roads.
modern. Some of those. I was a little surprised that you get the juxtaposition of the very modern next to the
Yes.
ancient. But yeah, they're growing.
Oh, yeah. And then they're moving around the world.
Yeah.
Okay. So that, as Carmen does a lot of work, we know in the Caribbean, there are people from all nations coming in those areas. Every place in the world, you can go to cities in England, and the largest population, of Muslim people are in cities in, Europe or
Yeah.
in England, and they are all still connected to family and friends
Yes.
back in their homelands. And
Homeland.
so
Family connection is
yeah,
very important.
So it's like this, okay, you may be going to serve the Lord. Let's just say you're going to serve the Lord in Spain. Well, the next thing you recognize before long is how many different nations are represented in Spain. And it's actually like a cultural land bridge into the Middle East because of the history,
Yeah.
And you meet all these people from Cairo, but it was like we had a little, Middle Eastern gathering of all these places, there in Cairo.
Yeah.
And yet they all know
Well, they
each
have
other.
a huge
praying for each other.
Sudanese population
yes.
in Cairo right now.
Yeah, like maybe
And-
they think maybe 2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so we were just blown away by that, and meeting some of these partners that providentially have connected with Jeff and Julie,
Yeah.
and then we found out that before Jeff and Julie were over there, even decades before, there were people from some countries doing exactly what Jeff and Julie are doing now. We met the wonderful couple from Germany,
Yeah.
and they're like the grandfather and
The
grandmother
grandparents.
of all these partnerships, and you're like, but they just came with a burden,
Yeah.
30 years ago to start coming alongside of evangelical believers in the Middle East. And so some of these relationships go back, decades.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So some of these, when we were there, I think we met 5 different partner couples.
yeah.
I think it might be helpful for some to just kind of hear some of the different things that they're doing, which is also mind blowing because they're accomplishing a lot with a little, I would say.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Incredible.
Yes.
We met, with Susan and I. We all had individual interactions. Of course, you had a lot of interactions with the ladies that were present, and then as a couple, we met with couples, but also then a number of the men would come alongside, and I get to sit down and talk with them. So there were a couple that that I was there, and Jeff was helping build these introductions of Yeah, I could see this is an amazing opportunity for that the Lord might have between West Park and as He leads some of these partners. The one couple that really amazed me, again, Egyptians, but they were serving in Turkey
Yeah.
and still are. But they were in one area, a large city in Turkey, and then they find out this terrible earthquake happens, down in the southern area bordering Syria.
Yeah.
And what is being told by the government, 25,000
Yeah.
people maybe passed. No, it's about 350,000.
Yeah, it was devastating.
And this brother,
is.
this brother and his wife just went down to start ministering. What can we do? And, God got his hold of their heart.
Yeah.
And so they made a move inside of Turkey also to be able to minister. And people were asking them, why, we don't think anybody's really caring for us like you all that are.
Certainly their government is not.
They're not getting the food, the
and they
clothing.
Say, you are Christian, right? Why are you Christians doing this? And it's pretty amazing the doors that has opened up to him again.
Absolutely. And her, as she
and
ministers
To
to
the
the
women.
women and to
Oh,
the children.
amazing.
Then the government officials start to trust them so much that they
Yes.
give him the keys to the
Yes.
warehouse
Wow.
and say, here, you're really doing this better than we are. And
Wow.
the people are trusting you. So here's the keys and we'll fill the warehouse, but
Right.
we don't want anything to do
Right.
with the people.
Oh.
And so he
well, we
gets
want to have
step
something to do
in
with the people.
and
Yeah.
minister to their physical needs, but then also help them
Yeah.
emotionally and then spiritually when they're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're ready.
Yeah.
When
they
someone
really
shows
are.
kindness to them in their deepest, deepest hours of need,
Right.
they are ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was one is just amazing, and this through that, this particular brother and his wife are just having these witnessing opportunities, sharing, because they're there, they've earned the right, and
Yes.
people are
Yes.
listening. It's real. So that was one couple I know that we were really and just so all our folks here know, Jeff and Julie have been closely working with them and encouraging them. It's amazing. So that was one that really touched our hearts. I know another one is as we thought. I never thought about this, that there are all kinds of people types that are Egyptians, and then there may be almost all by their heritage are Muslim, but that's a huge spectrum. We sometimes just in our mind, well, these are Muslims and these are Christians or whatever, but there's such a huge spectrum that of minority groups even within that don't really relate to each other, and then there's some like that are in the power and the positions, their group, and then others are like persecuted minorities, and then you have these ones that are traveling like Bedouins, okay, and there's several million that they move around a lot, and so we talking with one couple that in an area near the Libyan border, with Egypt, there's several 100,000 of people who would be kind of Bedouin, and yet they are finding ways, to open
Start
and share and build relationships.
Yeah.
It's slow and it's difficult, but these folks also, you see, when they're moving, they just don't go up to the border of Libya and like, oh, we can't go any further. No,
No, they just keep
Yeah,
going.
that's what you find out. These what we think of national borders, and they do exist, but really that's not how most people in the world don't think of that as a barrier,
Right.
because their people group
Yeah.
crosses over
Yeah.
those barriers.
Yeah.
So when you actually start to minister to a people group, you may be going into
Another country.
several different
Yeah.
countries because of that people group.
Yeah.
And that's
It's really different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too, the thing that to think about when you think about ministry there, reaching out to the women and children is a real inroad to families, because I think the women and children are viewed so differently than they would be in our Western culture. And so I think because of where they are and how they're treated, we'll just leave it at that, they're more open to.
I think Susan had, as you did when you were there, and I know Susan as well, some amazing conversations that probably couldn't have happened necessarily. And just, you couldn't just be sitting at a Starbucks having
Right.
these conversations. But
No, to hear the women and what they had come out of, how they had been raised, but how so many of them had to leave their families once they have a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
Many of them can't go back to their families,
Right.
and they have to start over, and they have to start over in a world that is difficult for a woman.
Yeah.
One of the women, she's a very beautiful woman, which to me, all the women there are beautiful.
They are.
But they can't just go out by themselves and go to all of the marketplaces, or they certainly, I don't believe of the women I talked to, any of them had a driver's license.
Yeah.
They can't just hop in the car and run to town or drive to Nashville or Atlanta like we
Yeah.
do.
And a lot
They
of that's
can't do that.
culturally
It is.
cultural.
Right.
But
It's their
them.
world. Yeah.
And so the women end up being the primary sole caregivers and raisers of the children, because many of the husbands are driving 1.5 hours to do ministry or to go to his job as a lawyer or whatever it is.
Yeah.
1.5 hours there, 1.5 hours back,
Right.
and work. And so there is no time
Yeah.
left. And so a tremendous extra burden that we don't know here. I have that liberty or freedom to run out and go buy groceries and get a cup of coffee and raise my children and still even work.
Right.
Have a job or have a ministry or teach or something. There's not that much time left for them. A lot falls. Most of the family raising falls on the woman's shoulders.
Yeah.
And if there's
Yeah.
parents, if there are parents or other family in that, town,
Right.
it all falls on them.
Yeah. And most of them, a lot of them live together with their families. Larger, a lot of them do.
They do. And this was one thing Susan and I, it was probably, we kind of went there, well, we don't know what they're going to ask us.
Right. There's no preparing.
So, but I know at least 4 conversations at a meal when we were with a couple, and they did not know what other couples had asked. Okay. And every couple that I'm thinking about, 4 or 5 couples, toward the end of the conversation, they would say, can we ask you a question? In your many years in ministry and as a couple together, what would you say to us about how to protect our marriage and how to have a marriage that is what the Lord wants.
Yeah.
And how do we find time? I mean, these
Yeah.
were, so you see, these are questions we're all,
Yeah.
all of us are.
Yeah.
And we don't get asked
yeah.
that much here.
Right. And they recognize, so if you can imagine the surrounding culture they live in, okay, yet as they have, come to faith and they want their family to be guided by the principles of the Bible and, the New Testament, that's not the culture.
not what they're seeing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not the culture. So how do we keep
How do
this
we do that?
culture? How do we do that? And it was
Yeah. It's humbling.
humbling, and we got but that was the question every time about them as a couple and a family.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so as we think about how can we, what we can learn from them. Okay, well, that's something for all of us to learn right there. I'm saying that how we should prioritize, our marriages, our relationships with our family, but also, as we think about what skills are needed to serve in other places. Well, just mentoring people in their marriages,
Yeah.
some
Yes.
counseling, coming alongside and just sharing stories and experiences,
Asking good questions.
asking
Yes.
questions. All these things are part of strengthening these believers.
Yeah. One
They
thing we
they-
noticed,
yeah.
they value prayer. Praying for them.
Oh, yeah.
Praying with them.
Yes,
They love
means
that.
a lot.
absolutely. And they are very knowledgeable of God's word.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's another thing we noticed. They're highly educated.
They
Mm-hmm.
read.
And because of that, I mean, there, of course, any place you have to be careful about doctrinal things, but I was amazed at their knowledge and their grip on the Bible and the teachings of God's Word. But when it comes down to where life meets, they're looking for help and
Yeah.
guidance in those things.
Yeah. I was completely humble because when we went, 3 of the partners were expecting babies.
Yeah.
Yes, they all
And they were
had
all
them.
born at just about the same time.
They
And
were
all
all 5
girls.
months old when we.
Yeah.
that-
and
all
they're all
girls.
girls and
yeah,
they're all
that-
so cute.
They were, they were all about
Well,
5 or 6 months old, weren't they?
They were.
Yeah.
One of the partners that I've become particularly close with, we still talk quite a bit, and we've even FaceTimed a couple of times since we've come back. Bless her. I don't have children. At the time, I had a cat, but we all know that's not a human child. She asked me for parenting advice, and I thought, wow.
Right.
I mean, I can tell you what my parents did or what I've seen that worked, but they're hungry for that relational. They don't have all of these resources at their fingertips like we do.
Especially from families.
Especially
because
from
they're
families.
first generation
Yeah.
Christians.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
to be a part, like you say, I think just having a relationship with them where you can speak into their life as a
Yes.
mentor or
Yeah.
encourage them is
Yeah.
a big deal to them.
Yeah. And I know, I think this will encourage the people that are listening, because anyone that's listened this far is interested in missions. But even for us as a church, I mean, I had some moments like aha moments, like really not just standing in front of the Sphinx,
Right.
but
No.
okay, talking with these partners, just to circle back to this, okay, it's like, all right, we're here in culture, most of us born into, raised, and we think of missions, okay, we're going to send, we want to do it Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, the uttermost parts of the earth, okay. we can forget we were the uttermost parts of the earth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like way
Literally.
out there. Okay. So then, now here, we who were once the
Far
uttermost parts of the earth, okay, the ones far off, we're now near. We have our Jerusalem. But now, as never, ever, ever, ever in the history of the world, there's never been a moment that it's come full circle back to where it's all started.
Yeah.
Okay. And we can think, oh, we're going to these really difficult places where no one's gone before, and we forget, wait,
It started there.
it started,
started
there. And so
there.
here's my goosebump moments, okay? You know, you're sitting there and we're talking with a couple, and she was born in Jerusalem,
Bethlehem.
okay, and went to and
She was
raised
born
up
in Jerusalem
and
and then
raised up in
moved.
Bethlehem. And you're
Yeah.
going like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you're talking to another pastor or worker, and yeah, he's in the southeast, southwest region of Turkey, down around a place called Antioch.
Yeah.
Okay. So Antioch, like
Right.
a Bible Antioch. Yes,
Yes.
yes. This is where the first missionary team, Saul and Barnabas, they started out from Antioch. Okay, so it's like
It's mind blowing.
I'm
isn't
sitting
it?
here talking to a couple who are from the Antioch area, and I'm talking with a couple. The husband is, Egyptian. The wife was born in Jerusalem and then raised in Bethlehem, and they're serving, another people group in Egypt. And I'm just sitting there going, I can't believe this, but this is what I want. I think for West Park going forward, this is the time that it's to go back. We have the ability, what we think is an unreached area of the world, the most difficult. Number one, it's not unreached. They're there.
They're there.
They
Okay.
are.
And people are coming as never before.
The stories are amazing, which could be a whole completely different podcast.
Yeah. You,
The way
you
people are
listen
coming
their
to Jesus.
testimony and some of
yes.
them, and it's like,
What?
okay.
Yeah.
That's the book of Acts right there.
Yeah.
So we have an opportunity here at West Park now with seasoned leader partners like a Jeff and Julie and a Carmen, our friend Peter and Heather that were with us. They are the Barnabas type people
Right.
who, there wouldn't have been a Paul without a Barnabas, humanly speaking. And they come along and they are just helping these people. And these people they're doing the uttermost parts of the earth.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like I'm
And they're
meeting,
equipped.
Right.
Because they know the language, they know the culture. There's no training there.
right. I mean, we're sitting there talking to people who are part of, for us, the uttermost part of the earth, and they're going like, no, you all were the uttermost part of the earth, and like,
Like,
yeah,
I didn't
we're
think about that.
Egyptians, but we're going to,
Yeah.
we're going to all these countries, and you were
countries.
like, okay,
Okay.
God, you're awesome.
Yes.
And so, why are we being allowed to see this? Why are we? And
No
so,
mistake.
of course, I have to have. I'm not going to preach,
right.
and no one.
Is
hope
it
will,
alliterated?
no. Well,
It
Maybe.
Is it?
maybe.
Is it really?
Maybe.
Okay. So, but when I was there to bring that devotion, I had an opportunity to bring a devotion, and it was the last day. But, and I had an idea of what I wanted to share, but also while I was there, sitting on the grounds there of the where the conference was being held, and I was just praying, and so the idea of just Egypt, here we are in Egypt, Lord, what what can I say to Egyptians? I mean, like,
Right.
I don't even want, I'm like, who am I to even get up here?
Yeah.
But they read the same Bible I read.
That's true.
But you know what? This passage, which is from Isaiah, and I'll just read the very last part because I couldn't believe I said, I'm sitting here seeing this. And so I just shared what I was seeing that the Lord was showing me from his word. And it's Isaiah 19, and it's a prophecy that Isaiah, by the Spirit of the Lord, says about the end of the age, kind of the end of the time. He's starting to describe this age when what we would say the rule and reign of the Lord's going to be magnified again on the earth. But this has blew me away. Okay. He says, in that day, this is verse 23 of Isaiah 19, in that day there will be a highway from Egypt to Assyria, and Assyria will come into Egypt, and Egypt into Assyria, and the Egyptians will worship with the Assyrians. Okay, so
Wow.
Egyptians going into worship with those people who once were Assyrians. Okay, in that day, Israel will be the third with Egypt and Assyria, a blessing in the midst of the earth, whom the Lord of hosts has blessed, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the works of my hands, and Israel, my inheritance. And so he calls the Egyptians, the Assyrians, the Israelites, his people, and that they will worship together. And that it'd be like a highway of these people interacting
forth.
with each other. And it's happening.
We
okay?
saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I looked up, just, I said, okay, Egyptian, it doesn't mean necessarily just Egypt today, Israel, Assyria. I said, okay, on a map, what would that
What
be
does that
like
look like?
today?
Yeah.
So it would be these countries, Egypt, Sudan, Libya, Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Armenia, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Oman. All of those people groups are included here.
That's mind blowing.
And
It is.
a number of those countries were represented in Egypt, where the Egyptian believers are already going.
Yeah.
Are going.
And it is
And able to cross the borders, we cannot.
right.
Right.
And so here is the big thing. Who could believe that those countries who are supposed to and do and have for centuries hated each other,
Right.
those people groups, they're all becoming members of the same family
Yeah.
through Messiah, Jesus, and they are God's people. That can break some barriers that can be in our mind,
Yeah.
even as we might listen to the news a little differently
Yes.
at times when we recognize God has his people among all these people groups and the names that sometimes we think, oh, those folks aren't included in God's
Right.
people. Yes,
Yes,
they
they
are.
are.
And it's happening right now.
Yeah.
Sure is.
And so we have an opportunity through
to be a part of it.
right, right. We have an opportunity as God guides us through partnerships, as the Lord reveals, to be a part of all that.
Yeah.
And actually also many of us maybe be able to go and see some of it with
Yeah.
our own eyes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it is exciting to think about future partnership for
Yeah.
West Park
Yeah.
and what that means and what
Yeah.
that looks like.
And I think that's what going forward, one of my big desires is for our people to recognize that places where we could not go, there's already believers there, or there are people who can go there.
You can get there. Yeah.
And so don't put any boundaries around that.
Yeah.
And it's very, very exciting. And so we've probably set a record for your podcast.
Oh, no. No, we have not. But
Okay.
it's been a good discussion. But I think
Yeah.
what's really important to remember, I think, just to kind of touch back, one thing that you said, the face of missions, global missions,
Right.
is changing.
It is.
And this partnership is becoming more and more important.
Yeah.
And it's just as it's evolving and giving us opportunity to be in places
Right.
where we've never been, where we can't go.
Right.
It's just exciting to see what the Lord's going to do.
It is. And so for people here, that part of West Park, to pray for our mission leadership team, because we're,
Yeah.
Lord, what are you showing us here? And for folks to know, to be praying for Jeff, Julie, to be praying for Carmen and others that are just doing this great work of building these relationships. And I'm looking forward, Lord willing, Jeff, Julie, Carmen, those folks will be back with us before long. And I think there'll be some real opportunities for us to learn more about partnering.
Partnership.
That's one of the things that, as a staff, we've been talking about, what that might look like for
Yeah.
us. So
I'm
just ask
excited.
folks to be praying about that, because God's doing big things that are, sometimes they're out of our box,
Yes.
but they're not outside the book.
I
They're
felt
right
like
there.
everything was totally out of my box while we were there.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the purposes I felt like for us were to be the eyes and the ears,
Right.
and then to come back and
Yeah.
I can't tell everybody. One little podcast doesn't do it.
No.
So I would say ask us.
Yeah.
Because we are loving to share
Oh,
with
yeah.
Right.
the groups that we're in, our community groups, and any neighbor
Right.
that will listen to me, is we were the eyes and the
Yeah.
ears.
That's
And we
right.
get to come back and tell
share it.
people
Yeah.
how you can be involved,
Right.
what we can do, and what
And
the
what
Lord
they're
is doing.
what the people of our church, their investment is making
Oh, yeah.
a
That's
real
exactly
difference.
right.
And the three of us here are grateful that because of that investment,
Oh,
we
yes.
were
Yeah.
able to take
Absolutely.
trips.
yes.
But what we have seen and heard and learned, my word,
I've
what
tried
a
to tell
pl- yeah.
everywhere I go, it's such a
What-
good on ramp
Yeah.
to say, oh, yeah, we just got back from Egypt. Why were you in Egypt?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
there you go.
And
know.
I have been able to use it with a lot of my neighbors who
Yeah.
go to the hair place or I talk to everybody. So it's
Yes.
like anyone I talk to,
Yeah.
I get to share
Yeah.
Yeah.
what is happening.
That's right.
Well-
And remind our people, as we have to be reminded, that in this little place we call Cedarbrook, our Jerusalem here of Cedar Bluff, Middlebrook Pike, this area, in that 40,000 people that live within a 5-minute drive of our church campus, about 63 different nations
Yeah.
that are here.
It's amazing.
So
Right here.
Yeah.
it is both and.
Exactly.
And now
It's-
I see them every
Yes.
Yeah,
time I
you
go
do.
anywhere. I think, oh,
Right.
they're Middle Eastern, and
Right.
strike up
So-
a conversation.
When we came back, I
So-
thought, I'm
Yeah.
going to scare people because
Yeah.
I see somebody from the Middle East. I'd be like,
I
oh, I want to
do.
talk to him. I
Yeah.
thought,
So
I'm probably going to frighten them.
Yeah.
I have frightened them already.
yeah.
But it's been a year since we were there, and we're still talking about it.
Isn't it
It's
something?
just, it's a life changing.
Good.
Thanks.
That's
Thing to
why
see.
you went,
Yeah.
is so that
Yeah.
you would be changed
Yeah.
and continue
Yeah.
to be talking about it
Yeah.
now.
thanks for having us today,
Well,
Tara.
thanks
This
for
is great.
coming and making time.
So grateful for everybody who's listened and just excited for what God's got in store
Yeah.
in Kingdom Ministries.
That's right, Kingdom Ministries.
We'll talk.
Our
We need to
expanded.
do a podcast
Well,
about Kingdom Ministries.
I am sure we will. Because let's be honest,
Stay
this is
tuned.
just stay tuned. This is just part one. This really is just the tip of the iceberg of
Yes.
what this trip is going to, how it's going to affect West Park and how it's going to help us grow and how we're going to look at things differently.
Absolutely.
So this was a good introduction. We'll call it introduction. We'll have parts 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
whatever later.
Sure. Yeah, I still got to work on the alliteration, right,
I
Susan?
know.
Okay.
Come
We do still
on.
expect it,
Don't let us down. No.
And
But
with
thank
that,
you.
we need to
We should wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you so much for making
Thanks.
time
Thank
to
you
spend
very
Thank you,
much.
Tara,
and
for
share
having
with
us.
us today.
thank you for doing
Thanks.
this.
We look forward to sitting down again soon. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Impact the World. To find out more about West Park Baptist Church in Knoxville, Tennessee, visit westparkbaptist.org.